The fluorescent lights hummed overhead, casting harsh shadows across the empty office floor. Sophia Rivera's fingers flew across the keyboard, tracing the security breach that had shattered her focus 20 minutes ago. Whoever this hacker was, they weren't playing games. This was surgical, professional, terrifying. The elevator chimed at the end of the hallway. Sophia's blood turned to ice. The building was supposed to be empty. Footsteps echoed across marble, deliberate and confident. She grabbed the glass paperweight. From her desk, her breath coming in short, silent bursts. Ms. Rivera. The voice was deep, controlled, wrapped in danger and expensive cologne. We need to talk. Sophia spun around, clutching the paperweight. A man stood in her doorway, silhouetted against the hallway lights. His suit was perfectly tailored, his posture commanding. How did you get in here? Security should have security works for me now. He stepped into the light, revealing sharp blue eyes and features that belonged on magazine covers. I'm Daniel Kingston, and you've been trying very hard to avoid meeting me. The paperweight slipped from her fingers, shattering against the floor. Kingston Technologies. The company circling her startup like a shark for months. You're the one trying to hack us. Daniel's smile was cold and beautiful. I prefer to think of it as a job interview. And you passed. Get out. Her voice shook despite her efforts to sound strong. I want you, Sophia. Your mind, your skills, your company. He stepped closer, close enough that she could smell his cologne, see the exhaustion around his eyes. And I'm not leaving until you hear my offer. The city lights twinkled through the floor-to-ceiling windows. Sophia realized she was trapped, alone with a man who could destroy her with a phone call. One conversation, Daniel said, his voice softer now, almost vulnerable. Give me 10 minutes. If you still want me to leave, I'll walk away and never bother you again. Sophia stared into those impossible blue eyes and felt something shift inside her chest, something dangerous, electric. 10 minutes, she whispered. But I'm recording everything. Daniel's smile turned genuine, transforming his entire face. I wouldn't expect anything less from the woman who traced my hack back to its source in under 20 minutes. As he moved closer, Sophia realized she had just made either the best or worst decision of her life. 3 weeks later, the coffee shop had become their battlefield disguised as sanctuary. Steam rose from Sophia's untouched latte as Daniel consumed all the oxygen in the room. You can't keep doing this, she said, voice barely above a whisper. Meeting me here? Sending flowers to my apartment? Showing up at my favorite places? People are starting to notice. Daniel leaned forward, eyes never leaving hers. Let them notice. I'm tired of pretending I don't think about you every second of every day. The confession hit her like a physical blow. 3 weeks of dancing around each other, professional meetings that turned personal, business dinners that felt like dates, stolen moments that made her forget he was supposed to be her enemy. This is insane. Sophia pushed her chair back, but didn't stand. You're trying to destroy my company, and I'm sitting here like some lovesick teenager. I'm trying to save your company. Daniel's voice turned harsh, desperate. Do you have any idea how many? Vultures are circling Innovate Solutions right now. Teknova made an offer yesterday. Meridian Corp is planning a hostile takeover. You're bleeding money, Sophia. Your investors are getting nervous. The words hit like bullets. Color drained from her face. How do you know about our investors? Because I know everything about you. He reached across the table, fingers brushing hers. Your coffee order. The way you bite your lip when you're thinking. How you haven't slept more than 4 hours a night since your prototype launched. The scar on your wrist from when you were 8 and fell off your bike trying to keep up with the older kids. Sophia jerked her hand away. Stop. I can't stop. His voice cracked. I've never felt anything like this before, and it's destroying me. Every board meeting, every business decision, every moment of my life revolves around protecting you. And you won't let me. Protecting me? Her voice rose, drawing stares. You're a corporate raider, Daniel. You buy companies and strip them for parts? That's what you do? Not this time? He pulled out his phone, fingers flying across the screen. The email that appeared made her world tilt sideways. A purchase agreement for Innovate Solutions. $50 million. Her name listed as CEO in perpetuity. All employees retained. Complete creative control guaranteed. This is impossible. she breathed. No one gives away this much control. I'm not no one. His eyes were raw with something that looked like pain. Sign it, Sophia. Let me protect what you've built. The coffee shop faded away. She stared at the contract that would save everything she'd worked for, offered by the man who had crawled inside her chest and made himself essential to her breathing. What's the catch? She whispered. Daniel's smile was broken and beautiful. You'll have to trust me. The word hung between them like a loaded gun. Outside, rain began to streak the windows. I need time to think, she said, voice far away. Sophia. His hand covered hers again, warm and steady. There's something else you need to know about why I really started watching your company, about what's coming. His phone buzzed with an urgent message. His face went pale. I have to go, leaving cash on the table. Whatever you do, don't go home tonight. Stay somewhere public, somewhere safe. What are you talking about? But Daniel was already heading for the door, his expensive suit disappearing into the rain-soaked night. Sophia sat alone with the contract, and a growing certainty that her life had just taken a turn toward something she couldn't control or understand. The warehouse smelled like rust and broken dreams. Sophia's wrists burned against the zip ties as consciousness returned in brutal waves. The concrete floor was cold beneath her cheek. Somewhere in the darkness, water dripped with metronomic persistence. She's awake. The voice belonged to Marcus Webb, her business partner, her oldest friend, the man who had co-founded Innovate Solutions in her garage 2 years ago, the man she trusted with her life. Marcus. Her voice came out as a croak. What's happening? Where are we? Footsteps echoed across the warehouse floor. Marcus emerged from the shadows, his familiar face twisted with guilt mixed with grim determination. I'm sorry, Sophia. I really am. He knelt beside her, but didn't untie her bonds. But you are going to ruin everything. I don't understand. The zip ties cut deeper as she struggled to sit up. Marcus, please, whatever this is about, we can fix it. You can't fix this. Marcus stood, pacing. You were actually going to sign Kingston's contract. After everything I've done, everything I've sacrificed. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the prototype, Sophia. Oh, you are a prototype. The one that's worth $500 million. The one you were going to just hand over to Kingston Technologies for pennies on the dollar because you're too blinded by pretty blue eyes to see what's really happening. Her blood ran cold. You've been selling our technology. You've been securing our future. Marcus's voice rose, echoing off the metal walls. Technova offered me $80 million. $80 million, Sophia. But you wouldn't take the meeting. You wouldn't even consider it. Because you were too busy playing romantic games with Daniel Kingston. So you're what? Kidnapping me? Forcing me to sign over the company? I'm protecting us from your terrible decisions. The warehouse door crashed open. Daniel Kingston strode in, rain-soaked and furious, flanked by 2 security guards. Step away from her, Webb. Marcus pulled a gun from his jacket. Daniel froze. You, Marcus spat. This is all your fault. She was fine until you showed up. Focused. Driven. Then you waltzed in with your billions and your charm and you broke her. I said step away. Tell her the truth, Kingston. Marcus's hand shook around the gun. Tell her why you really wanted Innovate Solutions. Tell her about the patent dispute, about how our technology is built on code your company developed 5 years ago. Sophia felt the world tilt. Daniel, his jaw clenched. For a long moment, he said nothing. It's true. His voice was barely audible. Your core algorithm. It's based on research my team abandoned. Research that technically still belongs to Kingston Technologies. You lied to me. I fell in love with you. Daniel's eyes were raw with desperation. That wasn't the plan. It was never supposed to happen. I came to take back what was mine, and instead, the gun went off. The sound was deafening in the enclosed space. Daniel collapsed, clutching his shoulder, blood spreading across his white shirt. No, Sophia screamed. Marcus stood frozen, staring at the gun in his hand like he couldn't believe what he'd done. The security guards tackled him. The gun clattered across the concrete. Sophia dragged herself across the floor, zip ties still binding her wrists, until she reached Daniel. His blood was warm against her hands. "Stay with me," she whispered. "Please, Daniel, stay with me." His fingers found hers, slippery with blood. "I'm sorry," he breathed, "for everything. I'm so sorry." Sirens wailed in the distance. Growing closer, the hospital smelled like antiseptic and regret. Sophia sat beside Daniel's bed, her wrists bandaged from the zip ties, watching his chest rise and fall. The bullet had torn through his shoulder but missed anything vital. He would survive. She wasn't sure she would. "You should go home." Daniel's voice was rough from the breathing tube they'd removed an hour ago. "Get some rest." "I can't." She didn't look at him. "The police want a statement. The lawyers are circling. And Marcus is going to prison for a very long time. He was my friend. He was a thief who held you at gunpoint." Sophia finally met his eyes. The morphine made them hazy, but the pain in them wasn't from the bullet wound. "You lied to me too, Daniel. About the patents. About why you wanted my company." "I know. That's it. Just, I know." He tried to sit up, winced, fell back against the pillows. "What do you want me to say, Sophia? That I'm sorry? I am? That I never meant to hurt you?" "I didn't. That I fell in love with you, and it destroyed every plan I had. That's the truest thing I've ever said." "The patent claim. Is it real?" Daniel closed his eyes. "Yes, my legal team could tear Innovate Solutions apart in court. The core algorithm you built everything on, we can prove it originated from our research. We have emails, lab notes, timestamps. So you could take everything from me." "Yes, but you offered me $50 million instead." "Why?" "Because I love you." His voice cracked. "Yes. Watching you build something beautiful mattered more than being right, because the thought of destroying what you created made me physically ill." Sophia stood, walked to the window. The city sprawled below, indifferent to her breaking heart. "I spoke to my lawyers while you were in surgery," she said quietly. "They confirmed everything. If Kingston Technologies pushes the patent claim, I lose everything. The company. The technology. Years of my life. I'm not going to push it. Your board will. Your investors will. The moment they find out about Marcus, about the kidnapping, about the shooting, they'll see weakness. They'll demand you protect the company's interests. I don't care what they demand." She turned to face him. "You should, because I've made a decision." Something in her tone made him try to sit up again, ignoring the pain. "Sophia, I'm signing over Innovate Solutions to Kingston Technologies completely. No conditions, no CEO position, no creative control. You get everything?" "No." The heart monitor started beeping faster. "No, Sophia, I won't let you. It's not your choice." Her voice was steady, despite the tears on her face. "My lawyers drew up the papers. I sign tomorrow morning. Get the company, the patents, everything. Clean, legal, done. Why would you do this? Because I can't spend the next 5 years in court fighting you. Because Marcus was right about one thing. I'm exhausted, broken. And I can't keep building something knowing it might all be stolen from someone else's foundation. This is insane. This is survival." She moved to the bed, took his hand. "And there's more. Die. There's a research position in Singapore. They've been trying to recruit me for months. I accepted it an hour ago. The beeping became frantic. You're running away. I'm starting over. Sophia, please." His grip on her hand was desperate. "Don't do this. We can figure it out. Together." "We can? There is no together, Daniel." Her voice broke. "There never was. Just two people playing at something impossible while the world burned around us." She leaned down, pressed her lips to his forehead. He tasted like salt and sorrow. "Goodbye, Daniel Kingston." Sophia waited, but she was already walking toward the door, leaving behind the man who had broken her heart while trying to save it in the hallway. She collapsed against the wall, letting the tears finally come. Her phone buzzed. An email from Kingston Technologies' legal team. They'd found something that changed everything. Her hands shook as she opened it. The rain hammered against the hospital windows like accusations. Sophia stood frozen in the hallway, staring at the email on her phone. The attachment was a scanned document. 20 pages of legal paperwork dated 7 years ago. A patent. Transfer agreement. Her hands shook as she read, Daniel. Kingston had transferred all rights to the algorithm research to a scholarship fund. A fund that specifically supported young entrepreneurs from underprivileged backgrounds. A fund that had partially financed her graduate school tuition. He'd given away the patents years before she'd even started her company. The hospital room door opened. Daniel stood there clutching his shoulder, his hospital gown stained with fresh blood from tearing his stitches. You shouldn't be up, she breathed. You shouldn't be leaving. They stared at each other across the fluorescent-lit hallway. Sophia held up her phone. You gave away the patents. 7 years ago, you had no legal claim to my company? No. Then, why? Why make me think you could take everything? Why let me believe because I'm an idiot? He leaned against the doorframe, breathing hard. Because when I found out your technology came from research I'd funded, I convinced myself it was fate. Destiny. Some cosmic joke. I told myself I was protecting you by offering to buy the company, that I was being noble, but you weren't protecting me. No, his voice broke. I was protecting myself. From the terrifying reality that I'd fallen in love with someone I couldn't control or manipulate or buy. Someone who was brilliant and fierce and didn't need me at all. Sophia took a step toward him. You were shot because of me. I'd be shot 100 times if it meant keeping you safe. You lied to me. I did. Made me fall in love with you while pretending to be my enemy. I know. And now I've signed over my company to you for nothing. Given up everything I built because I thought I was protecting myself from you. Daniel's laugh was bitter. The papers you signed, I had my lawyers reject them an hour ago. Innovate Solutions is still yours. Completely, I want no part of it. Thunder rolled across the city. Sophia was close enough now to see the tears on his face mixing with sweat from the pain of standing. So where does that leave us? She whispered. Broken, honest, terrified. He reached out with his good arm, fingers brushing her cheek. And maybe, if you can forgive me, ready to start over. No lies this time, no games. It's two people who are apparently terrible at staying away from each other. I accepted the job in Singapore. Then I'll move to Singapore. I can't run a Fortune 500 company from Singapore. Watch me. His smile was broken and beautiful and real. Don't. Tell me to leave. Tell me you hate me. Tell me anything except goodbye. Sophia looked into those impossible blue eyes that had haunted her for months. She thought about trust and betrayal, about the walls she'd built and the man who'd somehow found his way through every single one. I don't hate you, she said quietly. That's a start. I'm furious with you. That's fair. And hurt and confused and so tired of being strong all the time. Then don't be. He pulled her closer, wincing at the pain it caused. Be weak. Be angry. Be whatever you need to be. I'm not going anywhere. She pressed her forehead against his chest, feeling his heart hammering beneath her skin. The Singapore job starts in 2 weeks. Then we have 2 weeks to figure this out. That's not enough time. Then we'll take more. We'll take forever if that's what it takes. Sophia looked up at him. Promise me something. Anything. Promise me no more secrets. No more games. If we do this, if we try this, it's real. Completely real. Daniel's hand cupped her face, his thumb brushing away tears she hadn't realized were falling. I promise. Cross my heart and hope too. She kissed him before he could finish, tasting rain and blood in something that felt terrifyingly close to home. His good arm wrapped around her waist, holding her like she was the only solid thing in a spinning world. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Daniel smiled. So, Singapore. Singapore, she agreed. Together? Sophia thought about her empty apartment, her destroyed company that wasn't destroyed after all, the man who had been her enemy and her salvation and her complete undoing. Together, she whispered. Outside, the rain began to slow. The city lights reflected in puddles like scattered stars, and in a hospital hallway that smelled like antiseptic and new beginnings, two broken people held on to each other and decided that maybe, just maybe, they could learn to be whole. 6 months later, Sophia stood on a balcony in Singapore, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of gold and crimson. Behind her, she heard Daniel's footsteps, felt his arms wrap around her waist. "How was the board meeting?" she asked. "Terrible. They hate that I'm running the company remotely. They'll adjust." He pressed a kiss to her neck. "How was your research presentation?" "Brilliant." "They want to triple my funding." "Of course they do. You're brilliant." She turned in his arms, studying the face that had become as familiar as her own heartbeat. The scars they'd given each other were still there, probably always would be, but they were healing. Together. "I love you," she said. "I love you too." Daniel's smile was warm and real and completely his. "Even though you're impossible. Especially because I'm impossible. Especially because of that." They stood together. As the sun disappeared below the horizon, two people who had found each other in the wreckage and decided to build something beautiful from the broken pieces. It wasn't perfect, wasn't easy, but it was real, and real was enough. The end.